Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. I'm your host, CJ Odom, and with me at this time is San Marcos High School head football coach and athletic director, John Walsh. Coach, welcome to Rattler Up.
Hey, glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
So we're looking to do first of all, let's welcome, we got our live crowd here. Live crowd excited. We are live at the Big Texas Event Center at Hays County Barbecue. You've already been sneaking barbecue, I noticed, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course you are. We got barbecue, we got sausage. Come down. This is the place to be on Monday nights. Monday nights, 6 o'clock, you're going to be here at Hays County Barbecue, here in the Big Texas Event Center. You weren't aware about the Big Texas Event Center, were you, Coach?
I was not. It's a good venue for San Marcos Athletic Podcast and just to grow the, when asked about this show, the goal of it is it's not a football show. This is a San Marcos Athletic show. And to incorporate it all year long, but also bring everybody in to this event center and make it a fellowship after. There's not Monday Night Football on tonight, but the goal is to segue it into we do the show and then we hang out and fellowship and have a good time after watching the Steelers or the Cowboys. Whoever's on.
Absolutely. It'll be the place to be on Monday nights. You come in, you get your food, get your brisket. The Texas Monthly recognized Hays County Barbecue, by the way. For those of you that don't know, or if you're not familiar with it, obviously down here, we're not going to eat it if it's not Texas Monthly recognized. And Hays County Barbecue is certainly that. So we are here live each week, Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. We're going to look back for this during the football season, of course, look back at the previous week's games, preview the upcoming week's games. This week, we're going to talk some volleyballers, some exciting stuff going on in the Snake Pit this week. But talk to us, Coach. We're going to start off with, again, this is for some people maybe first time hearing. You've done plenty of interviews. You've done plenty of segments on different Fox networks and different things like that. But this is ours. This is our show. This is Rattler Up. So you're in year 2, Coach. Tell us just what that's been like. First year, obviously a strange one, a COVID year. What a way to get started with anybody doing anything. But now we're in year 2. Talk to us about your transition and what you're loving here in Rattler Nation.
Yeah, everybody's got COVID, so we can just throw that out the door. So San Marcos, the community, the school system has just really hit my wheelhouse. I've only had 3 jobs, and one was in Brownwood, Texas. It was a one-horse town, one high school town, and 4A, which was 5A these days. And that was my roots for the first 10 years. And then I went to a multi-school district for 14 years. And every place was great, but I knew I had to get back to a place that had a one high school town. There's just so much you can build. There's so much family atmosphere. There's everywhere you go, you're not tripping over wires. Everybody's a rattler. So whether you go in HEB or you go in elementary school, everybody's going the same direction. So it's hit me. I'm having a great time. I love the building process, and we're in the middle of the building process, but it's really accelerated quicker than I thought it would. And we'll get into the football here in a minute, so I won't get ahead of myself.
Well, absolutely. We'll talk football, we'll talk volleyball, and just a lot of growth within, like you said, the Rattler Nation program. And I think what you talked about, the community, that's what this event is here for tonight. We've got our fantastic broadcast partner, VYPE. They've been so good for us. We got Josh over there producing the show for us. VYPE's been a great partner for us. We got Hays County Barbecue partnering. This is truly a community event. And like you said, if you're watching us at home, thanks for watching us on the YouTube there. But of course, we want you here live. Monday nights at 6 o'clock. This is going to be the place to be. And as soon as he and I shut up, that's when the fun begins, right? That's when we're going to sit down and watch Monday Night Football. That's when we're going to really talk. He's going to let the real good secrets out, I think, after Rattler Up wraps up. So on Monday nights at 6 o'clock, this is where you're going to want to be. So, Coach, before we get into last week's game, we want to talk, just as you talked about, you're preparing, you're taking that growth. But talk to us about that growth. In year 2, what has to happen this year in your vision for Rattler Athletics? Where are we headed, and what are some of the next steps?
Yeah, I think just watching the video Saturday was very helpful. When you have an opener, everybody wants to be 1-0. Everybody in this building wants us to be 1-0. But when I watch this opener versus last year's opener, the biggest growth we have is what Coach Thompson has done in the weight room. I mean, we are physically, like, we didn't physically get beat that night. We mentally got beat that night early and put ourselves in a hole. So I think the biggest growth I've seen is just physically in the trenches. It proved to me that we're ready to be a good 6A football team, and we just got to do the other things to not put ourselves in a hole to get in that spot. But we're going to get there. I think that film was a great learning tool. We got some players in here. I think the mistakes that we made, they knew it before what Coach even had to say it. So right. I think the maturity of being able to coach themselves and just being strong. We're finally strong.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's talk about last Friday night. Obviously, game didn't quite go the way we wanted it to. We traveled down to New Braunfels. New Braunfels gets the 49-30 victory, but a lot of things were talked about, Coach, and the fact that there was a lot of good to be found, as you started to mention. Before we get to that, for the viewers at home, let's take a look at some highlights from this past Friday night's game. All right, some great highlights there from a game that, again, didn't go the way we wanted to, but there you go. 49-30 was the final. Photo credit here by Kaylee Engelman with WK Ohana Photography. Thank you for letting us use this great photo she got from the beginning of the game, Coach. But as we think about the game itself, it really seemed to break down to the tale of two halves, right? We had a first half with 79 yards and penalties, a couple of drives that got down near the end zone that we couldn't quite push across, as you said, mental mistakes. But in the second half, we really saw some growth. I love the quote from you after the game. You said, "I thought the second half we came out and looked like a Texas high school football team on offense and moved the ball." So talk to us about the struggles of the first half and what went right in the second.
Yeah, and I'm not a big guy at all, because the last stat you won is did you win the game, and I've won games 55-54, and I've won games 10-9. So, but stats this early, you know, going into the fourth quarter when we had 501 yards of offense and they had 298 yards of offense. You shouldn't be behind the ball game with those kind of stats. And I think what our kids learned quick in the first half, you can't get all those penalties were self-inflicted. They weren't effort penalties. They were just mental breakdowns. And whether it was nervous or whatever it is, when your team comes out like that, that's on me. You know, I got to have them prepared to where their nerves are calmed. And by the time we got to the half, you know, I just challenged them. I just told them, you know, we're down 21-9, and just the challenge was to get it to a one-score game. You know, have enough about yourself to get it to a game. By that time, we had some kids that were already out, so we had to modify and make some adjustments. The kids adjusted well, and then they made it a one-score game 3 times. So right. that there's a lot of maturity in there, because last year that game would have went the other direction fast. So to watch the kids fight back, fight through adversity, and I really believe, you know, Malik's here, and if Malik doesn't really with the shoulder, and we'll get him back, I don't think they run the football like they did in the fourth quarter, and we get that stop, and then we get to go for that go-ahead win, the go-ahead score. So, but that's why I love coaching football. It's complex. There's lots of things that go into a football game. It's not just can you block and tackle better. There's lots of strategy. There's lots of mental games, and your kids got to fight through it. So, and I was really proud how our kids battled back and kept fighting, keeping it a one-score game with having a chance at the end.
Well, I love what you said there. 3 times they did get that game within a touch. Talk about halftime speech must have worked, especially because you come out third quarter, Rattlers win the third quarter 7-0. So we're closing that gap. Again, it kind of got away from us in the fourth. You mentioned New Braunfels runs that ISO, kind of knowing where the gap was on defense. As you mentioned, maybe not something that would have been in their game plan, but they recognize it, they see it, they go after it. But lots of great moments that we can point to, again, like you said, is growth, spreading the ball out quite a bit. 4 different players rushing the ball, including, of course, quarterback Isaiah De Leon. Like you said, lots of yards gained. So talk to us about, on offense, what were some of the things that you were excited to see happen throughout the game?
Well, just our diversity. You know, you want to be balanced, but to win, to get in the playoffs and advance in the playoffs, you got to run the football. And the 300 number is my number. If you can run the football for 300 yards, you're going to have a chance to advance. If you can stop the run, you're going to have a chance to advance. And you'll hear me talk about the tournament. The players here can tell you before the pregame speech was simply this. This is not about New Braunfels. This is not about anybody but us in November 12th. And November 12th being, that's when the tournament starts. That's when the playoffs start. So whatever happens tonight, good or bad, how we fight and battle, it was all about November 12th. So being able to run the football was good. Now, when you can add the fact that you can throw the ball like we did. So the first half, I think we threw for 200 yards. And we had some big plays by a few kids in here. So just a diversity, because when you can throw the ball over the top to Nate Henry and Ryan Hicks and Jamil Gordon, those safeties can't be playing the box. And when they can't play the box, we got a chance to get Schultze and Kanui and Jaden Brown loose, and in our re-game with Isaiah. So I thought we showed being multiple, that our schemes are in. They've learned our schemes, and we came out at halftime and went to a 3-back read option game and nearly killed the whole third quarter to get back in it. So just being able to play it different ways was and move the ball and score in different ways was good. And
you saw that a lot when you would see New Braunfels when the big play was made. Almost immediately you could see their defense spread out. Right. And immediately you saw now you had opportunities. So you've got to believe as those big plays become more quantifiable, more in greater number, you know you're going to be able to open up more slots for the running game.
It's reversed too. So when we're running the ball good, you can't play Jamil and Nate one-on-one, you know. So it works with each other. So as long as that O-line, they played well. You know, we weren't. I said be assignment sound early in the week. We were not assignment sound, which is why we lost the ball game. But as we get to this week, you'll see us be more assignment sound. And as long as our O-line's playing like they did and giving Isaiah time, we're going to be able to mix it up and be pretty scary.
Now, the defensive side of the ball, 4-man front, that's just the go-to. Talk to us about how they fared, and it seemed to be kind of an up-and-down battle. Again, held them scoreless in the third quarter, let a bit go in the fourth, so there was wins, there was losses. What did you feel about the defense in that New Braunfels game?
Yeah, the defense was kind of misleading. You know, when the game was done, I was frustrated with that side of the ball, but you know, when you lose Malik is he's our quarterback back there, and he's our senior leader, and he is a run enforcer that can play. You know, he got hurt making a big play on a slant route. So when that void was gone, we had to start moving people around. And then when Jaden Brown went out, we were really moving people. We had a safety, a linebacker playing safety that was out of position. So, and the reason for that depth was I was trying to keep some kids down on the JV to keep them some more playing time, so that didn't last very long. But like I said, they didn't run the ball. When you looked at the stats going into the third quarter, they didn't run the ball very well. 10 was a problem. That receiver was good. You know, he'll be a problem for most people all year long. But we had to go to a lot of man coverage to stop the run when Malik was out, and 10 made some big plays. But really, after watching for 3 quarters, I was pleased defensively. The fourth quarter, we just didn't stop the run like we needed to, but we had guys out of position. So overall, I thought it was I do think we need to get a little more pressure on the quarterback, and that was addressed.
Okay, great. Well, we know that there were a lot of big moments in the game, so right now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this week's plays of the game. And Coach, we'd love it if you could walk us through these and kind of let us know the situations that we were in. They're up here on our monitor here, and just walk us through what we're seeing in some of these big plays this week.
Well, the first one's the first play of the game offensively, and we have it scripted. Our kids know what the script is. We script the first 20, and so, you know, Isaiah and Jamil and Ryan knew we were going to try to go over the top. You know, and it wasn't that we beat him over the top. Jamil's behind him, ball's underthrown a little bit, but I think when these kids know this play is going to be the first play over and over again, they visualize making that play, and that's what Jamil did. The ball was thrown up, we gave him a chance, and I think in their terms, he mossed the kid. Again, Isaiah's got lots of protection. Most of the night,
he had time here.
Yeah, he had good time to get the ball loose.
And the big scrum there, going up for the ball, able to pull that down with the defender right there. That was a prize catch. So let's take a look at the next play here. Set us up where we are in the game at this point.
So I think we're in the third quarter here, or maybe the second quarter, trying to convert a third down. We're not assignment sound, so the end got cut loose, and Isaiah's got pressure quick. I think last year Isaiah would have been toast right here, but he's worked his tail off to make himself a better athlete. And he spins off, he's strong, he gets off the guy, and then, you know, Patrick Mahomes has got a lot of arm angles. He can throw the ball at different angles, and he nearly sidearms this ball right into the chest of 15 right there.
And then you see the great yards after the catch here, making a couple of defenders miss.
You know, like the first play was Jamil deep. You know, if we can just get the ball to Jamil quick, he's still going to get that same kind of yardage. So he had a good night.
All right, one more big play of the game here, Coach. Walk us through this one.
So we've been in the three-back set. We came out in the three-back set, and in this play, we didn't even work this play all year long. This is a testament to the maturity of our kids, because we were in three-back run, and then this is a play in our playbook that we have not put on this year. And we drew it up on the sideline. The kids executed it. And Isaiah throws a really well-timed pass to 15 again, who makes a big play.
So as we're looking through these plays of the week, Coach, a common thread kind of comes out, and that's what's going to take us into something we're going to do every week here on Rattler Up. We're going to name our Rattler of the Week. And so, Coach, we want to talk about that for a minute. Who is going to be this week's Rattler of the Week?
Well, watching the videos, you know, it's going to be 15. Come here, Jamil. You know, Jamil had a big game offensively for us, and he was that big play. He was that big play ability that opened up the run. But what Jamil did also was, when those injuries took place, you know, he works on the offensive side of the ball most of the day, and so he had to go in there at receiver. I mean, at safety. I think one time I saw you on the second level, and I guess they had you up in the Wildcat, is that what it's called?
Yes.
We had him up in a linebacker. So for Jamil to put those numbers up, and then you see the effort plays from Jamil. He tired, obviously playing. It's hard to play, to be our deep threat and then go play defense, but you see him running down on kickoff. I think they made a big play on offense, the Broncos did, and he's the one that chased them down about 40 yards. Coming back, I'm trying to make a call, and I'm changing my mind. I can hear Jamil say, no, I got it. I'm good. Give me some water. And so, you know, Jamil had a great game. I told our kids this too. Jamil had a great game because Jamil is always locked in practice. There's no dead time. I have to slow down to get him rest. So he's a great example of being locked in and you being a reason why we have a good shot. It's a team game, but it takes individuals to lead, and this guy leads through his effort. He's tough. So Jamil Gordon is our athlete of the week.
All right, so give it up for Jamil Gordon, our live crowd here at Ace County Barbecue. Giving it up for our Rattler of the Week, who joins us now on set. By the way, again, thank you, Kaylee Engelman with WK Ohana Photography, for that great setup, that great shot of you. So, Jamil, talk to us about last week. Lots of time on the field, right?
Yes, sir.
And like he said, playing both sides of the ball. Frequent stops for water, but otherwise you were out there giving it everything.
Yes,
talk to us about, let's talk offense first. Talk to us about what you were keyed in on and some of the ways you were able to make some of those big successful plays, netted you 120 yards for the game.
Well, Coach Nash basically told us that the corners would play 7 yards out with their butt to the sideline. So basically, I would have a shot at making big plays. So the first play obviously was the post that I made a catch on.
So talk to me about that switch. A lot of players may get set in as they're an offensive side of the ball guy or a defensive guy. Talk to me about how do you walk yourself mentally through saying, I'm going to be on the field 95% of the game. How do you get yourself mentally prepared for that? How do you take yourself through the game?
I think you just visualize you making plays. I mean, it's just what's called
You stuck. Looking for a word here?
Yeah.
Have to visualize. Next question.
Well, I think I do get where he's headed, right? It's just getting your mind right to think one side of the snap, one set of snaps to the other,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So on the defensive side, talk to us a little bit. We saw lots of great offensive highlights. Talk to us about the defensive game plan and what you had to focus on that side.
Just focusing on our clues at safety, just playing the zone. Just playing the zone.
Okay. So talk to us a little bit about the program itself, right? You are in your junior year, so you're your third year in the program, right? Second year?
Senior.
I'm sorry, you're a senior, so you're fourth year in your program. Second year.
I thought I had it wrong and I was getting it back. Shoot.
Got him very excited to think he had another year. But talk to us about what this has been like these last couple of years under Coach Walsh and where you feel like the program's going.
I feel like the mental part, we're a lot stronger mentally. You know, last couple of years it's been rough, you know, but these coaches are actually giving us what's the word?
Freedom.
Yeah, I guess you could say freedom to be ourselves, you know, and just giving us a good push to be ourselves.
Awesome.
You know, we got a saying that we just it's been our motto. I'm gonna let you be you till you ain't right. And when you got guys like Jamil and Malik, and I see guys in here, is when you got guys that can push and lead, and the kids can be their own personality, it makes for a healthy environment, and that's what we got going because of senior leadership right now.
Awesome. Well, Jamil, congratulations on being Rattler of the Week.
Thank you.
Live crowd here at Hayes County. Let's give it up for our Rattler of the Week. All right, Jamil, you can hang with us for just a minute. We got plenty more to go here on Rattler Up. Before we talk about next week's football game against Holmes, before we get to talking a little bit of volleyball and some of the excitement going on in the Snake Pit, Coach, we want to put you on the spot a little bit. Now, you come to us as a very knowledgeable football coach that speaks to your knowledge of Texas high school football, so we're going to play a little game. All I did was tell you we're going to play a game, but I got a graphic and everything. This is ready to go. I mean, we are prepared. We are going to play the Odom Mascot Challenge. So, Coach, we're coming off a game against the New Braunfels Unicorns, well, obviously one of the more unique mascots in Texas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a mascot of another high school football team here in the state of Texas. You've got to name the school that mascot is from. Our live audience here enjoying your Texas Monthly recognized brisket and barbecue at Hayes County Barbecue. You can play along, but don't cheat. We're going to see how Coach Walsh does. If you're watching at home, you can shout the answers out all night long. But next week, you need to be here live with us in the Big Texas Events Center at Hayes County Barbecue. So are you ready to play the Mascot Challenge, Coach?
I will say I'm ready. I did tell him I'm good at this because this is when we're going on long trips, this is the game we play in the Walsh car. So,
all right. So you're saying Maggie could have done well in this as well, then?
She don't listen, so no.
All right. So first off, let's start off with the somewhat local one, the Gobblers. What school is the Gobblers from?
That's easy because they used to whip Coach Vallejo's tail in high school. That's the Cuero Gobblers.
The Cuero Gobblers. That is correct. That is correct.
That one's easy.
All right. Give you a little bit of a hint. You're going to head a little south from there for the Rice Birds.
They're black. El Campo.
El Campo Rice Birds. He's 2 for 2. All right. This man knows his football. I
know all the weird ones, right?
Right. I gotta have one in here that'll stump you. Let me get you to the Zebras.
They got the white hat with the black, and they've been playing pretty well. Dadgummit. It's up there by the Metroplex too.
I'll give you a hint there. It's zebra country.
It's awesome. Grandview. I knew it. Yes,
Grandview Zebras. We're gonna give him it.
Thank
Grandview
you.
Zebras.
Thank you.
All right. And so, given that you may want to do this to me right now, how about the Punchers?
That's by my hometown. It's the red. Mason Punchers.
The Mason Punchers. He's 4 for 4. All right. So this is going to be our last one. Let's go perfect score, 5 for 5. If you can name me where the Fighting Farmers are.
Louisville, right?
No, it is Farmersville. The Farmersville Fighting Farmers.
Hang on.
He's looking for a clarification.
We got some discrepancy here.
Uh-oh.
I think the Louisville, the Farmers too.
I believe Louisville is the Farmers, but Farmersville is listed as the Fighting Farmers.
Well, aren't we the Fighting Rattlers?
So we could give you half a point.
I mean,
We can also be the Striking Rattlers, depending on the PR
I'll take
campaign at the
Hey,
time.
I'll go all week with taking the loss. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, I got to believe 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. Pretty great job. So give it up for Coach Walsh on the mascot challenge. And Jamil, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Give it up one more time for our Rattler of the Week. All right, well, Coach, we got a lot more than football that's exciting right now, especially down at the Snake Pit. Now, you and I, we've been sitting there in our little kind of carved out section of the Snake Pit where the staff tends to sit. Coaches and teachers and administrators are sitting and watching, and there is some exciting stuff going on with the San Marcos Rattler volleyball team. And so, Coach, you know, we've sat there, we've watched them. Let's just look over big picture. 22-5 on the season for the Lady Rattlers. They are currently ranked number 9 in the Austin-San Antonio area in the VYPE rankings. Our live stream partner with VYPE, I'm kind of told by our producer Josh, probably headed upwards coming into their rankings that are released next week, or actually tomorrow. So talk to us about just the excitement that's been going on in the Snake Pit with the Lady Rattler volleyball team.
Yeah, anytime you're winning, you win 22 games before you can start district, you're headed in the right direction. But just being a volleyball dad, watching this what Coach Teo and staff have done with just a skill level, not just not teaching them how to win, but just the skill level from the last player on the bench that plays to all the way to the top has been phenomenal. And I actually texted them the other day. We played Northwest in the tournament, and they got a girl going to Texas. I think they're ranked number 9 in the state. And we didn't have one of our starters playing. Jocelyn wasn't playing, and we were 20-20 both games before we just didn't finish it off. And it was a complete team effort. We got freshmen making plays. We got girls that are born and raised in San Marcos that I don't think they really knew 2 years ago that they were going to be in this situation and being an impact volleyball player on a team that's got a chance to win the district. And they were making impactful plays. So it's fun to watch the whole group just grow.
And you talk about those locals, the Emory Jones, the Brinkley Reeves. Of course, I got to be there for junior setter Ruby Gordon, her 1,000 assists. It's so much fun to call out those big milestone events. And then, like you said, it's a mix of those and some new players to the team. Specifically this year, senior outside hitter Jocelyn Robertson. She's joined us from Hayes. So she's in a new city, a new school, a new team program. And what I find fascinating about that is your daughter Maggie becomes the perfect mentor for her.
Right.
Having just last year, new school, town, new everything. So talk to me about what Maggie's been able to do to help Jocelyn adjust to all the things that are new for her and how it's turned out so well for the Rattlers this year.
Yeah, Jocelyn's she's a high-level club player, so she's used to getting on different teams. I think where Maggie's helped Jocelyn is just Teo's way of coaching. I mean, he's a good guy, and he keeps the energy well, but he's no nonsense, you know. And if you're not doing the things that he wants, and if you're not communicating well, or if the effort's not there, he's real no nonsense. So I think Maggie's probably helped Jocelyn get used to probably Teo's style quicker than anything else. Josh can play ball. She don't need help there.
Yeah, Tarleton State commit. Maggie, of course, Texas State commit. And in talking to Coach Teo for this segment, he talked a lot about that 22-5 record. And he talked about his scheduling was very purposeful. He said that he purposely scheduled last year's playoff teams to really put them through the grind. He really expected the pre-district schedule for the volleyball team to be just an absolute grinder, but he knew that would be what they needed to experience going into district play. Have you had an experience like that, or what do you make of you set out to put them through the grind, and they go 22-5 in that grind?
Yeah, we really hoped they'd have had more adversity. You know, to advance deep, you want to make sure you give them every bit of adversity you can give them, and they have won some games. We were hoping we were going to be a little tougher for them, But he's smart. You know, he gets it. You know, but I really don't like the 22-5 talk because when district gets here next week, the 22 means nothing.
Right.
And they got it because this district's good. Austin High is good. Hayes got to move in. They're good. You got Westlake and Lake Travis. So I'm ready for these two last non-district games, and we quit talking about how many games they've won, and we start all over and
0-0.
Make them grind it out again.
And that's one thing Coach Teo talked a lot about was the edge. He said last year the players had a real edge to them in kind of feeling like the underdog in most games, having a lot to prove, people maybe kind of counting them out, and trying to make sure they maintained that edge going into this district matchups. Like you said, 22-5, had some stumbles in the Rattler tournament against, like you said, Northwest Denton. So a lot of growth there where you said they were in them right to the end of sets as they battled in those tough matchups. It may be exactly what they need with 2 games to go until district.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think their edge, just the girls are obviously at my house quite a bit, and the edge is they played Reagan last year, and they were outmatched, but the scores were 25-17, 25-18. So as you just see 7 or 8 points there, and you look up and they're in the semifinals of the state tournament. So I think they keep that edge because they know this region is gettable, and they just got to be as good as they can be come tournament time.
Well, if you are here live or watching at home, you're going to want to be in the snake pit. The volleyball team is doing some great things. District play starts real quickly. Let you know tomorrow night, August 31st, they take off to Schertz to take on Clemens High School. Then this Friday, September 3rd, they will be at home against Davenport. And then next Friday, September 10th, they begin the district portion of the schedule against Bowie. I don't want you to predict a record. I don't want you to predict anything like that specific, but talk to me about where do you see the girls going into district play? Where does it all come together? What do you think is going to be their strength?
I think their strength is they've been consistent, or they wouldn't have that 22-5 record. So I think their strength's being consistent. Where do I see them in the district? It's a tough, like I say, it's a tough district, but I think they got a chance to win every one of them. But you play everybody twice. So wherever they finish up, you know, I've not been a big. You've never heard me. Y'all don't even know me very well yet, but I don't talk about district champions very much because you try so hard to be a district champion and you get it like then you got to refocus your energy to get in that tournament and go to the playoffs. District championships are great. It's another trophy, but that tournament success is what we want. And that playoff success is what we want. So just get better each week.
All right, so volleyball doing some great things, plenty of opportunities for you. Check out the Rathletics website at smcisd.net and check out all the opportunities to go see the volleyball players in action in the snake pit. But, Coach, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention back to football, back to Rattler Nation. One more week on the road before we return home for our home opener on Friday night, September 10th against East Central. Now, we're going to talk homes here for this next segment, but before we do that, Coach, talk to me about how excited you are for September 10th to get back to San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium, get those Toyota vehicles parked next to the concession stands, get the Jumbotron fired up, get the fans back in the stands, and play some football here live in San Marcos.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad we got a game before that, you know, because we want to get this bad taste out of our mouth, get in the win column, and use Antonio Holmes to get that done, because I want the excitement. You know, we want Rattler Stadium. I've seen a picture of Rattler Stadium filled up, and that's exciting. So it's not going to fill up unless you give them a good product, and so I think we're headed that way, and going to homes and taking care of business, it's going to make for a good opener.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look then at this week's game. We talk about it this Saturday, or the Saturday game, as we head down to San Antonio to take on the Holmes Huskies. And right off the bat, sometimes I think, Coach, you may have had more familiarity with this. For us, the Friday Night Lights has been primarily the what we work with, but what changes? What do you have to make an adjustment when you get a Saturday game? Is it a better thing because you have the extra day? Does it throw the routine off? How do you make a Saturday night not feel so different?
Well, Saturdays are meant for the playoffs. So this might be my second Saturday game in a non-district game ever. So I think it's ridiculous. And two, to play at 7 o'clock at night is just stupid. I mean, it's not good, but we got to do it. We're at the mercy of, you know, Coach Morales is a great guy. He actually tried to get it flipped to us to make it a home game. He tried real hard, but he didn't get much support from his admin because he thinks the same thing. But The problem is when you play a Saturday night, you don't get your kids on Sunday, and then so that your Sunday becomes your Saturday, your Monday becomes your Sunday.
Okay.
Luckily, we're not in school, so that's okay for the coaching staff preparation for the next week. So it works out good for us this week because today we got to scale it back and work on some things we need to work on that we didn't do well last Friday, and then tomorrow and Wednesday will be really the meat days of the practice, and then we'll scale it back again. I'm a believer in healthy bodies and healthy minds make for a winner, so we're not going to grind them right now at all. But yeah, not a fan of the Saturday, as you can tell.
Well, I think the best way we can protest that is by showing up loud and strong to San Antonio, to Holmes' Stadium, and just make all sorts of noise. So everybody
Absolutely.
watching, everybody here live at Ace County Barbecue, we got to be there Saturday night. We got to cheer on our Rattlers against Holmes. So let's take a look at Holmes. They got their victory last week against Lee in their season opener. They took a 42-10 victory against Lee. A big rushing game. They had 345 yards rushing, split between their quarterback Christopher Medeles and running back Christopher Maxey. So talk to us about what you've seen from Holmes. Again, big rushing game, just one game. Like you said, stats don't tell the whole story. But what are we looking at? What's the preparation looking like for the Holmes Huskies?
You know, they're really big up. They ran the ball well because they're real big up front. They're bigger than New Braunfels. The left tackle for New Braunfels is big. They got about 5 of them, and they run a spread offense, so they spread you out to run the football. They were efficient passing the ball, but it doesn't seem like that's what their bread and butter is going to be. They want to get behind them big old boys up front and with that quarterback and run the football.
Okay, and so as a defense, what we're going to run our 4-man front, obviously, but without giving game plans and secrets away. What are some things you know you have to do in preparation for our players during the practice week, knowing, hey, we got a big run team that we're going up against? What kind of stuff happens in practice to get us ready?
Yeah, we're simple. You know, we're not trying to get difficult. And Jamil said, he said, read your keys, and that's what our defense has got to do. I think if you go back to the big hits that hit us last week was the mental part of not reading your initial key and reacting. So we're going to keep it simple. We're going to do what we do in our 4-2 defense, and I'm sure Coach Clabber is going to mix up some coverages just to give him some different looks. But it's about us right now. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying it. It's about us on November 12th, and Holmes is next on the schedule, and we got to make sure we're a little better than we were last Friday.
And so talk to us, we talk about getting everybody to travel out. We always want that, but tell us what that's like down on the sidelines. When you are on someone else's turf and you've got a loud, screaming, engaged crowd behind you. Tell me what that does for the coaches. Tell me what that obviously does for the players. What is that? We generally know that, right?
Right.
But for you down on the field, do you feel it? How do you feel it? What's that like?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it got me 4 delayed games the other night because we didn't get our communication in very good, but I love it. We feed off the energy. And that's the one thing the other night. I don't worry about losses. I think failure, we're going to learn more from a failure than we will if we win against Holmes. But I'm just mad we didn't capture everybody. When I looked up in the stand, I said, all right, it's a good start. Let's capture them all, and let's build the next week. And then so we're not done capturing, but if I had any regret for that loss the other night was not capturing the community like we needed to, and we're going to be back on it.
All right, well, Rattler Nation, you got to be there this Saturday night. It's a 7 o'clock game. We don't like the 7 o'clock game, but we're going to go. That's what you're doing Saturday night. Plenty of great food.
We don't like anything. 7 o'clock Saturday night. Yeah.
Exactly. We're anti next week, pretty much is what we're saying. But what we're saying is at 5 o'clock, you can stop by and grab you some Hayes County barbecue. You can head down south,
right.
Take in the game 7 o'clock Saturday night against the Holmes Huskies. So, Coach, this is 1 week of Rattler Up under the books. So we got another week coming up next Monday at 6 o'clock right back here. So talk to me. Is this what you were wanting? Is this your vision? What's your thoughts on what we're collecting here and getting going here with the community?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my second time to start a show like this, and it's actually this is a lot bigger crowd than the one I used to be a part of. And my whole goal is here. I think I got asked in an interview not too long ago is how do you get the community excited? Well, and I said, you get in it. And this is the way you get in it. And this is not about a 1-hour show for me. My wife knows I'm not going to be home until about 9 o'clock tonight. I want to put a show on and then just hang out and meet people. I've met 3 parents tonight that I have not met yet. So, and then we're going to invite different factions. We're going to have, we'll get the volleyball parents here. We got a cross country lady right here. We're going to get that crew out here. So it's not just about, like I said, it's not a football show. This is a Rattler athletic family show. We got the boss here. We're going to try to get the school board members here. And before it's all said and done, I want this thing, not enough room. I want to open those garage windows right there where people got to hear from the outside.
Oh, that'll be great. Well, next week we're back with Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. Next week we will look back at what happened with Holmes, the big victory we're going to have on Saturday down in San Antonio. We'll look back at that game. We'll also preview, of course, our home opener as East Central comes to town at Toyota Rattler Stadium. And we'll have all that plus all the other happenings going on with Rattler Athletics. So, Coach, thanks again. Thank you to VYPE and our producer Josh for putting on a great show. Let your friends know you can watch this live on the VYPE link on their YouTube channel. You can watch it live there. You can also come down to Hays County Barbecue in the Big Texas Event Center and be with us. Now this week you get a little off light. We're going to hang back again. It's after the show's the fun part. That's where you want to be. After the show is when we get to sit and eat some more brisket, hang out and talk. No Monday Night Football to distract us this week, Coach, but if I'm not mistaken, next week is when we're going to get kicked off with some, right?
I think it's 2 weeks.
We still got 2 weeks, so you're going to get a little bit more conversation, and then once Monday Night Football starts, there'll be a little more hooting and hollering, but it'll be a good time either way.
Absolutely.
All right, well, every Monday night at 6, this will be your place to be for Rattler Up. So for Coach Walsh, I'm CJ Odom, and we'll see you here next week on Rattler Up.